Hello everybody, this is Celesta Matthews and today we are going to see some questions which are based on arrays. Okay, so we'll do the second question first. We have to create a library management system wherein we have add books, borrow books and show books. Okay, so we have one more thing called return books in this, which is not mentioned in the question. The first part is your add books. Inside that, I ask the user to enter the name of the book, the book number, publisher name and the number of copies. Okay, so I have created 4 different arrays: name, number, publisher, that is POB, and copies. Okay, so I have stored whatever values are there into these respective arrays. Now for next, we have borrow. For borrowing books, we will ask the user to enter the book number and the C value is set to 1 so that we can iterate through the loop. And using the C value, I will compare the book number that is given by the user, that is entered by that particular user, and the book number. Okay, so here that's what I'm doing. I'm comparing if $number at C, that is number at so and so position, is equal to the book number, then what I have to do, I have to decrement the copy if the number of copies is greater than 1, because if the number of copies is 0, then I cannot borrow. So if it is greater than 1, then I have to echo that the books are borrowed and the number of copies have to be reduced. Okay, otherwise I will display that the count is too less to be borrowed, and I will increment C and continue the loop. The next part that we have is your return book. Inside your return book, I again ask the user to enter the book number. Again, I will iterate as I did in borrow book, but instead of decrementing the count, I will increment the number of copies over here. Now for shoe books, it's very simple. I start from J up to I, and then I have to keep on displaying all the values, that is name, number, publisher name and the number of copies, and J will be incremented one by one. Next, what I have to do is, after that I will be displaying the menu, that is add book, borrow book and show book. We will execute this. So I will say sh. First of all, I have to add a book. The book name, let it be Unix book. The book number, let it be 1. Publisher name be ABC. Number of copies, say 1. Okay, I press 0 to continue. Now show books, the book details are displayed. Again, next I will borrow that book. The book number is 1. The book is borrowed, so that means the count must be decremented by 1. So again, I'll show the book. So you can see that the number of copies over here is 0. Now if I go ahead and return the book number is 1, right? The book is returned. Again, I will do show book and see you can have the number of copies as 1. So next we will see the other program. Okay. Write a shell script to display the report of a student in the class, provided the student name, register number, subjects 1, 2, 3 marks, and the name of the student as input. The report must contain the details like student name, register number, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3 marks, total marks, average marks, and grade. Now note, use array to store the details of each student. Script must contain the following user-defined functions. First is get details to get the name, register number, subject 1, 2 and 3 marks for each student. Calculate to calculate the total average grade for each student. Display print name, register number, subject 1, 2, 3 marks, total marks, average grade for each student. Okay, so here we have the code. So the first function is your get details. So I will echo that enter the following details. So I will continue this loop. Okay, over here I've asked the user to enter the name. So whatever name is entered is stored into the array name. Similarly, I ask the user to enter the register number, marks in physics, chemistry and biology, and I increment the value of I until it reaches the particular limit. Okay. After that, in the calculate function, I have to calculate the average, total and the grade. Okay. So here in the calculate, again I will run the loop, of course. To calculate the total, I will be using expr and like adding up the values for each and everything, and the total will be stored in the variable called total. Average will be stored in a variable called avg. Okay, and so for all of these you have different arrays also declared. That means for first student, the value of total will be stored in the total array in the first location, like that. Okay, so after that I have to calculate the grade. I just simply enter some values. If the average is greater than 8, then the grade must be A. If it's greater than 6, then it must be B. Otherwise it must be C. And I will increment the I value so that I can iterate through the loop. Now for displaying, again the same thing, I have to iterate through the loop, and I will be displaying the name, register number, marks in physics, chemistry and biology, then the total which is stored in the total array, average stored in the average array, and grade stored in the grade array. Okay, so that's how I do it. And after that I have asked to enter the number of students. I read it and then get details $n, that means I have to get the details for n students. Calculate $n, that means I have to calculate the average, sum and the grade for n students and display the details of n students. So let's execute it. Number of students, I'll say 2. Name, I'll say Austin. Register number 12. Marks in physics 60, 60, 60. The next student's name Mary. Register number 13. Marks in physics, again I'll say, okay, let's say 67, 68 and 60. Okay, so here you have the name, the details that you entered, and these are the details that were calculated. Then for the second student also it's done in the same way. So that was very simple. I hope you understood it. Thank you.